Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton and beyond. This week, Japan's fast-rising women's doubles duo, Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota, tells us about their exceptional run at the TOTAL BWF World Championships. And Denmark's head coach looks at the positive impact of Viktor Axelsen's recent achievements. Endurance, speed, and power. Women's doubles in today's modern game is as intensive and competitive as any other discipline in the racket sport. And there is one country that proudly boasts 4 pairs in the world top 10 rankings: Japan. While the world number ones Misaki Matsutomo and Ayaka Takahashi are the most famous, there is another pair set on conquering the world. Japan's second-ranked pair, Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota, impressed at the recent TOTAL BWF World Championships and bettered their high-flying compatriots by winning silver in Glasgow.
We had our goals set for a medal, so I felt great that our goal has been met. Of course, I'm disappointed that we lost the final. And as we were standing on the podium receiving our silver medals, it made me realize how I'd rather be on the top podium with my partner. So I want us to continue to improve.
Badminton Unlimited sat down with the current world number 5 duo at Japan's training headquarters in Tokyo as they spoke at length about their excellent run in Glasgow. Fukushima and Hirota's partnership began 4 years ago, and by 2016, the pair had broken into the world top 20. But 2017 was the year they caught the attention of the world. The pair opened their 2017 campaign by clinching the Yonex German Open. A few months later, Fukushima and Hirota announced their arrival in the top echelon of the sport by winning their first World Superseries title at the Malaysia Open, a Super Series premier event. Although they were starting to get noticed, all the attention was still on Japan's Olympic champions. While there were high expectations on Matsutomo and Takahashi to deliver at the World Championships, Fukushima and Hirota went into the major tournament with a lesser burden on their shoulders.
It was our first time playing at the World Championships. I was looking forward to it, and I didn't feel much pressure. We were a bit nervous in our first match, but gradually we became more relaxed.
The duo got better and better as the competition unfolded in Glasgow. In the quarterfinals, the Japanese tandem battled for close to 2 hours to beat Korea's top pair Chang Ye-na and Lee So-hee. Fukushima and Hirota then went on to win a 3-game thriller against Europe's best pair, Camilla Ritter-Yul and Christina Pedersen, in the semi-finals.
They are much taller than us, and they are good at hitting to the sides of the court. So our tactic was to stop them from playing that way. And our coach also told us to watch out for it. We had a long match the day before, and so did the Danish pair. So we felt our fitness was key. And we also successfully prevented them from controlling the game.
With Matsutomo and Takahashi defeated in the other semi-final match, it was down to Fukushima and Hirota to pick up the baton and race to the finishing line.
I was happy as it was our first win against the Danish pair. And I was excited to be able to play one more match, which was the final.
It was our first victory against the Danish pair, so I was happy about it. And I was told that it had been 40 years since Japan had advanced that far. It really felt like a dream, and at the same time, I knew that was some achievement.
Having staved off 2 grueling 3-game matches the last 2 days, the Japanese shuttlers now had to muster all their energy for the final hurdle against the tough and aggressive Chinese pair Chen Qingchen and Jia Yifan. Another 3-game battle was to take place.
Well, thinking back now, we had a very good chance to win if we had taken the first game. In the first game, we started off leading and yet lost it at the end. We weren't able to hold on to the lead. I felt we could have had a chance to win the game if we had held on a little bit more during the rallies. We should have played more aggressively as the opponents were hitting down, taking it from high. We should have done better in the decider. If we had put more pressure on them, I believe it would have been different.
The pair might have wished for a different result that night, but it was still a momentous occasion for them and for Japan. With Matsutomo and Takahashi claiming bronze, the nation had 2 pairs on the winner's podium. For Fukushima and Hirota, the silver medal is only the beginning.
I'm extremely happy that we made it to the final, and we achieved this in our debut appearance at the World Championships. That has certainly given us confidence, although the defeat in the final was very disappointing and frustrating for me. I keep thinking to myself, taking the title in our first appearance would have been so cool. Next time, we would like to win.
From Japan, the number 9 seeds, Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota!
No doubt that the fastest rising pair in women's doubles will have plenty of opportunities to do just that as they seek higher glories. Yuki Fukushima and Sayaka Hirota's rapid emergence makes them out as the pair to watch in women's doubles. Time to test your badminton knowledge. In this week's trivia, we want you to name the player with the most World Superseries titles. Here's a clue, he's a men's singles player. Have a think and we'll reveal the answer after the break. When we return, we find out more about the Armenia national team. Before the break, we wanted to know the player who has won the most World Superseries titles. The answer is Lee Chong Wei. The Malaysian legend has a whopping number of World Superseries crowns. He clinched his 45th title this year at the All England Championships. He has won the prestigious tournament in Birmingham 4 times, but it's at his home competition, the Malaysia Open, that Lee has captured the title an incredible 11 times. The World Junior Championships training camp held last month was a development initiative hosted by Indonesia as part of its efforts to help teams prepare for the premier junior competition in Yogyakarta. 7 teams took part in the 10-day camp, and Badminton Unlimited grabbed the chance to get to know the players from one of the participating nations, Armenia, to find out how the shuttle game is progressing in the country.
My full name is Arman Vartanyan. I'm from Armenia. I play badminton. I play single and double.
My name is Gane. I'm from Armenia. I'm a 30-year-old. I'm play single, girls single and girls double.
With a modest team comprising of 2 boys and 2 girls, the Armenians were making their debut appearance at the BWF World Junior Championships. Although it's their first major tournament, the sport is not new to the country. Badminton first made its way into the former Republic of the Soviet Union in the 1950s and has gradually developed into a relatively popular social activity.
In Armenia, badminton started many years ago. The sport began developing in 1958, and coincidentally, it was also the year that I was born. At first, badminton began to develop in the Armenian capital, Yerevan, and then from there, the game's popularity reached out further, and it started to develop in other cities as well.
In Armenia, badminton is mainly played as a social sport and as a physical activity in schools. However, there hadn't been any push for enthusiasts to play the game at a competitive level, not until recently.
In Armenia, there are approximately about 200 badminton players based in different cities. They are from all over the country, but mostly they come from Yerevan, the capital of Armenia. Other cities like Gyumri and Vanadzor are also home to many badminton players. The younger players in these cities also play in their schools.
This reality has impacted the staff roster at the national setup. Currently, the national team only has 10 shuttlers on its books, with just 1 coach who has had to juggle other responsibilities as well.
We have one head coach, that is me, who tries to do everything, right from technical to tactical and physical conditioning. At the same time, when there are injuries, I try to attend to them and provide physiotherapy as well as recovery exercises. So there's only one person in our team that does everything. We do not have the financial resources to employ many coaches, with each one focusing specifically on one aspect, like technique, tactics, medical issues, and physiotherapy.
The lack of funds may be stretching its resources, but this challenging situation can't suppress the Armenians' ambitions to one day become part of Europe's badminton elite.
More funds are needed so we can organize tournaments and ensure that there would be more Armenian players who will compete. It's a chance to invite those hailing from other cities. I want and will try to achieve that Armenia Badminton will not only have a full national team with proper facilities, but also at least one player from its ranks who can become a champion of Europe.
It's plenty of hard work ahead if Armenian badminton is to reach those heights. But in the meantime, there's nothing stopping its young shuttlers from dreaming big.
My dream is to win the world champion, Olympic Games.
My dream is to be Olympic player or champ, just like Karnaman.
The Denisa Denmark Open 2017 is the 9th tournament of the 12-leg MetLife BWF World Superseries circuit, and badminton fans were treated to top-class action in the city of Odense. The women's doubles graced the courts first, with Lee So-hee and Shin Sung-chan of Korea taking on the Japanese combination of Shiho Tanaka and Kaharu Yonemoto. The opener was tightly fought in the beginning, with the lead exchanging hands several times. But it was the Koreans who produced enough firepower to pull ahead midway and grab the first game. Lee and Shin replicated that impressive performance in the second, leaving their opponents with no room to plot a comeback. The final score read 21-13, 21-16. Hong Kong faced an arduous task in the mixed doubles final when Tang Chunman and Tze Ying-Sweat went up against number 1 seeds Zheng Siwei and Chen Qingchen. It was a fierce battle from the get-go, with Tang and Tze fighting their way to keep pace with their Chinese opponents. Their resilience paid off as they claimed the opener. Zheng and Chen were once again pushed to the limit in the second, but eventually made it all square to set up a grand final third game. However, the world number 1 pair could not capitalize on their revival and collapsed after 56 minutes. Tang and Tze wrapped up the match to claim their maiden World Superseries crown. 24-22, 19-21, 23-21, the final result. Women's singles followed, with Ratchanok Intanon of Thailand taking on Japanese ace Akane Yamaguchi. The number 4 seed Yamaguchi began with deadly intentions in the opener and rapidly closed out the first game without much resistance. But Intanon clawed her way back in the second to force a deciding third game. Both players were pushed to the limit in the final game, and Yamaguchi had the title in sight at 19-16. But the Thai player remarkably reeled off 5 straight winners to clinch her first Super Series title in over a year. 14-21, 21-15, 21-19, the final score. In the men's doubles final, Liu Cheng and Zhang Nan of China faced Indonesia's Marcus Fernaldi Gideon and Kevin Sanjaya Sukamuljo. The opener was an intense skirmish, with the Chinese combination surging to an early lead. Gideon and Sukamuljo caught up midway through, but it was not enough to halt a rampant Liu and Zhang. The number 5 seeds were pushed to the edge in the second, as the Indonesians made it 1-1 to force the match into a decider. The world number 1 Indonesian pair began the hungrier side, but were punished for their lack of concentration. The Chinese took advantage of their opponent's complacency to close out the match. The final result, 21-16, 22-24, 21-19. The finale saw Kidambi Srikanth of India taking on Korea's Lee Hyun-il. The in-form Indian ace took command of the opener early and ran riot past Lee, who struggled to keep pace. It was a similar story in the second, with Lee being outclassed by the crafty plays of Srikanth. The Indian dealt the final blow after just 25 minutes to record a convincing 21-10, 21-5 victory to seal his third Super Series crown of 2017. After the break, we catch up with Kenneth Jonassen as Denmark's head coach speaks to us about the nation's revival in men's singles. With digital innovations, shuttle time is now more fun, engaging and accessible than ever. So get connected to BWF's Badminton Schools program. Find out more about BWF's grassroots initiatives on these platforms. Download the app, visit the website and get active on Facebook. Your gateway to shuttle time has never been so easy. If there is a discipline in which the Danes have continuously produced world-class stars, it's the men's singles category. First, there were the likes of Erland Kops in the 1960s, before the legendary Morten Frost emerged in the late 70s. Then Paul Erik Høyer, Peter Rasmussen, and Peter Gader carried the baton in the 90s. But since the turn of the century, Asia have been overwhelmingly strong. In particular, through the exploits of China's Lin Dan and Chen Long, and Malaysia's Lee Chong Wei. One of those who has lately challenged their dominance is Viktor Axelsen, whose recent landmark achievements, winning the world title and ascending to the top of the world rankings, have ushered in a new era in the solo event.
Obviously, Viktor is very young, just 23. But there's no telling the future how that's going to react. I think the fierce competition coming out of Asia. But then, yeah, if I look at Denmark, we obviously have Viktor. Hopefully Jan will return in strength from his injury, and we also have Anders Antonsen, an even younger player coming up who has the potential to go far. If that leads into world dominance, I think a lot of countries will fight for that. I only see us as one of them and not the dominant country, but I'm very pleased with the progress we're doing.
In becoming the world champion, Viktor has put Danish men's singles back into focus when he ended the country's 20-year gold medal drought in the solo competition.
I think Denmark, in particularly in the just after '97, Peter Gader came close quite a few times. But I also have to say that the likes of Lee Chong Wei, Lin Dan, means a lot. They've kind of reached so many finals consecutively. Or other Chinese have kind of been able to step in. Taufik Hadiyat has also obviously been there. So I think it's a journey. It takes a little bit of luck also to reach the final and to make it happen. I don't plan to make another 20 years before we win another one, but I think it's a lot of things that has to go up to perfect throughout that week where you compete. But I believe that we can win more within the next 10 years.
Overall, it's been 8 years since Denmark tasted success at the World Championships. After mixed doubles pair Thomas Laborn and Camilla Ritterjul's 2009 triumph in India, the Danes have only come close twice. The Scandinavians will hope that Viktor's recent breakthrough can have a major impact on the country's fortunes.
I think when you become a world champion, it gives you as a player and also the group around you a sense of, okay, what he is doing, his kind of commitment is unique, and maybe I should look at the way he's preparing and how he's conducting himself every single week, how professional he is. And I hope that rubs off on the rest of the group, the choices he makes, because he wants to be number one. He wants to be the very best he can become as a men's single player. Those choices, I hope, rubs off on every single player in our setup, not just the men's single. On a daily basis, yeah, you can see the confidence when he practices with the others. They know they have to become even better, so they have to kind of go for try to push their limits, what they are capable to do, because he's doing that all the time. But I'm only looking at it as a positive progress.
It's all smiles at the training headquarters in Brøndby, and rightly so, as their boy wonder is now the king, reviving the Danish legacy in men's singles. So, what's next for Kenneth and his Chargers?
The World Championships was huge. I don't think you got many other tournaments that can compare with that bit. The next bigger goal for me is, without the question for men's single, would be All England. It's still a title that we haven't had for many years. I think it's 19 years now, maybe, since Peter Gader won it. So that's obviously a big target. And then there are many tournaments that we want to do well in, but I think the All England, and then obviously coming within a year's time is another World Championship and the Thomas Cup. Big goals, big tournaments. A lot of countries want to try to gain success at these, but I think those are the goals, those are the tournaments that keeps motivating me to push the players and to keep developing new ways of training and different ideas of how to improve overall.
Let's take a look at the tournaments coming up in the next few weeks in our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Next week, we chat with Maiken Furugard and Sarah Pagerson as Denmark's young women's doubles duo shares with us their aspirations. See you next week!